Akihito is your typical nice high school student who pretends to be weak to hide that he's the strongest demon. He's in the mountains enjoying his book when he hears a noise in his house. He turns around, just to get stabbed in the chest with Hiromi's scarf. He falls to the ground, losing consciousness, until he remembers that he's an immortal half-demon and escapes. He desperately tries to escape to the forest, while Hiromi and his younger sister Mitsuki chase him. They want to recruit him to their spirit warrior clan. What a nice way to recruit people, just stab them. They find and insult him, calling him a demon. Akihito knows it's true. His mom was a spirit warrior and had a baby with an immortal demon who went to buy milk before he was even born. All his life he's had to suffer because of this and shouts that he's not a demon. He is half human. He decides to ignore his siblings and go back home, even though Mitsuki wanted him to go with their clan, who would protect him from other spirit warriors. He refused their offer and Hiromi put his scarf around Akihito's neck and dragged him away. Suddenly, a huge, tentacled demon burst out of the ground and came after them. Knowing it was after Akihito, Hiromi decides to take him away far from his Mitsuki, literally taking a dog on a leash for a run. They eventually stop, and Hiromi casts a magical barrier to shield them from the demon's attacks. Mitsuki appears, and Hiromi is compelled to put a stop to it because of his intense Siscon personality. He creates a shield to keep her safe, but the demon shifts its focus to Hiromi and Akihito jumps out in front of him, only to be stabbed by several tentacles. The demon runs away, and Hiromi holds Akihito's hand, who communicates to them to leave him as he takes his last breath. Mitsuki looks at Akihito's hand and notices something is different. He suddenly opens his eyes, which have now turned completely black, and stands up surrounded by an unusual power. He raises his hand and tries to send a fire spell at Hiromi, but Hiromi sets up a spiritual barrier to block it. However, Akihito teleports and breaks the barrier with a punch, then blasts Hiromi away with a fire spell. In a flash, our boy teleports in the next second on top of Hiromi and gives him a new back tattoo, slicing it while he cries me a river. Two more spirit warriors appeared to aid the siblings, one making a barrier and the other leaping to kick him away. That's until she realizes that he can simply grab her leg and throw her like a frisbee. He starts casting fireballs to break the barrier, but Mitsuki a pill made of blood at Akihito, and he turns back into a human. Akihito wakes up, not remembering what happened just moments before, until he spots Hiromi lying in a pool of blood. Fortunately, the other spirit hunters manage to heal him and he decides to bring Akihito to his clan, so they can look after his human side and protect him. After Akihito agreed to the deal, he moved to the siblings' school and was just like any other student. Even though his mom was often away for work, Akihito was still a very kind kid. Akihito noticed a girl, Mirai, on the edge of the school rooftop. Thinking quickly, he ran over to her, wanting to help since he kinda has a kink for girls who wear glasses. Mirai agreed, but to his shock, she lunged towards him and stabbed his chest with a blade made out of her blood. She declared that she was a spirit hunter, but was stunned when Akihito kindly asked her to take the blade out of his chest, revealing that he was immortal. A week has passed and Akihito has had enough. Mirai has been attempting to use him as a target for her demon killing skills, because she never killed one before. He asks her to stop because he cannot die, but he can feel pain. Mirai tells him that her family was destroyed by spirit hunters because of their power of changing blood. She made a red sword and wanted to fight Akihito, but he ran away. She followed him, trying to hit him with the sword, but Akihito dodged and threw things to slow her down. Mirai was on her way to catch up to Akihito in the classroom, ready to try and take him out again. But, just in the nick of time, a fierce demon showed up. But in that moment, Shizuku, the school teacher and famous spirit hunter arrives on time and deals with the demon alone. Akihito invites Mirai out to dinner and encourages her to focus her energy on destroying a real demon instead of just practicing on him. The next day, Mitsuki told Akihito that her clan was after Mirai because of where she came from and asked him to keep his distance. Despite Mitsuki's warning, Akihito still meets up with Mirai after school to help her with a demon that is causing trouble in her apartment. He's literally teaching someone who wants to kill him how to kill his own kind. When they arrive, they find a creepy mummy-like demon that starts attacking Mirai. Mirai swung her sword at the demon with all her might. Akihito shouted for her to stab the demon in the eye so it couldn't escape, but it still ran away, and Mirai began to battle it fiercely. But when she had it cornered, she hesitated to finish it off. Akihito urged her to keep fighting, telling her she'd be rewarded for it. Finally, Mirai mustered up the courage and stabbed the demon in the eyes. After the fight was over, Akihito gathered the demon stone and tended to Mirai's wounds. After Ayaka examined Mirai's demon stone, Mirai used the money she earned from selling it to take Akihito out to dinner. There, she asked him not to get too close to her because she had killed someone before. On the way home, Mitsuki tells Akihito that Mirai is likely to face off against Hollow Shadow. Akihito doesn't know why, and so Mitsuki explains that Mirai wants revenge. The reason is that Mirai's family was wiped out, so she was sent to live with a foster family. Unfortunately, her foster sister Yui was taken over by Hollow Shadow, and Mirai was forced to kill her. Akihito goes to see Mirai and begs her to not fight the Hollow Shadow. Mirai, however, wasn't having it. She said he couldn't comprehend how it feels to be a monster that hurts and kills someone dear to them because she cannot control her power. Akihito, feeling frustrated, tried to stay at home, but he ended up worrying about Mirai so much that he made his way to the battle zone. Once there, he entered the realm of the Hollow Shadow, interrupting Mirai and Sakura, who happened to be Yui's sister and was seeking revenge. The two of them took off running and Sakura followed, shooting at them. Despite facing many obstacles in the fantasy world, the pair managed to get away from Sakura. Eventually, an illusion of Yui tempted Mirai onto a train, so Akihito went after her. But it was really Hollow Shadow pretending to be Yui, who then broke the train and tried to strangle Mirai. Akihito rushed to her rescue, but Sakura fired her weapon and held him back. In spite of Sakura's caution, Akihito convinced Mirai that Yui had passed away, freeing her from the illusion. Mirai unleashes her corrosive blood which defeats Hollow Shadow, and they return to the real world. Suddenly, Hollow Shadow launched an attack on Akihito, taking control of his body. He was quickly losing his hold over himself and begged Mirai to stab him. Without hesitating, Mirai used her special powers to push Hollow Shadow out of Akihito, and was then left to take care of the demon all by herself. Akihito's severe wounds bring out the monster inside of him. His friends arrive and try to trap him in a magical shield to prevent disaster. But Akihito's power is too strong. He bursts out, blasting fireballs and destroying everything around him, including hurting his friends. Mirai realized that Akihito was suffering just as much as she was. Driven by desperation, she hugged him tightly and used her own blood to bring him back to his human self, just like the pill when he met the siblings. When Akihito woke up, he said sorry to Mirai for the destruction he had caused. Mirai felt bad for not realizing the heavy load Akihito had to bear due to his power and apologized in return. Everything goes back to normal until Akihito's mother sends him a message, warning him that the time of calm is coming, a period when demons become more vulnerable to spirit hunters. She advises him to stay at home and not go out, as otherwise he may lose his immortality and be in danger of being killed by spirit hunters. Later, while traveling on the train, Akihito finds Izumi, the sibling's older sister, sitting next to him. Akihito tries to question her, but Izumi puts him to sleep and sends him to Ayaka's house to rest. At the stroke of midnight, Akihito's half-demon side takes over, weakening his human half. His dormant demon awakens and now controls him. Mirai encountered Akihito in his monstrous shape and tried to keep him from running away. But due to the chaos and the battle between the spirit hunters and the demons, Akihito managed to slip away. Mirai eventually finds Akihito in the forest, searching for him. Suddenly, Akihito jumps at her, leaving Mirai no choice but to fight him. She quickly uses her blood manipulation powers to shape a blade and tries to hit Akihito. He, however, dodges her attacks and fires powerful fireballs at her. Mirai then jumps around to protect herself and throws her corrosive blood at Akihito to distract him, but he puts up a rock shield to block it. Mirai then takes a surprise attack against Akihito, thrusting her blade towards him. He was hurt, so he pushed her away. Finally, in an intense moment, Mirai made her final move and stabbed Akihito, finishing him off. A few days later, Akihito woke up to find out that Mirai had been looking after him. She told him that the injuries he had gotten were as a result of their argument, but promised him that he'd be feeling better soon. He went back to his usual school routine and had the chance to spend time with Mirai in the literature club room. He was amazed at her beautiful grin, and he bravely asked her to have dinner together, but she blushed and said no. She starts to reveal the shocking truth to him. She explains that the demon inside his body is the Beyond the Boundary, the most powerful demon that has the power to destroy the world. And she was hired by Inami to kill him and save the world. But she couldn't kill him. She saw how they were similar and didn't have the courage to kill him. She used her own blood to take the demon away from him and force it into herself. She's not alive anymore. This is a fragment of his dreams because she gave him some of her blood to save his life. She expresses her love for him, smiling with tears in her eyes, and vanishes while saying goodbye. Akihito wakes up in a hospital, feeling confused and disoriented. He's shocked to discover that he's been in a coma for the past 3 months. His friends told him that Mirai was gone, and that he wasn't immortal anymore because of her. But then he heard a strange sound from the sky. To find out what it was, he and his siblings asked Ayaka. She figured out that Beyond the Boundary was still alive and must be the cause of the noise. Akihito learns from Izumi that Mirai had a choice to kill him to get rid Beyond the Boundary, but she chose to sacrifice her life to save him. When he looks at his phone, he starts to cry. Mirai's last message said that she was grateful to him for showing her that her powers were something to be thankful for, not cursed, and she asked him to lead a normal, happy life. Suddenly, in the darkness of night, a mysterious black sphere appeared. It sucked up all the demons into another dimension. Akihito and his friends all gathered in the literature club, and his mother Yaoi appeared, informing them that Mirai was still alive and battling Akihito's half-demon in the other dimension created by it. She then gave Akihito his demon stone from his fight against Mirai. Izumi cautioned Akihito that it was risky to let Beyond the Boundary come back into his body, but Akihito refused to abandon the beautiful girl wearing glasses. He ventured outside and used a stone to send himself into the world made by his half-demon part. He got there securely and seized Mirai from falling during her fierce fight with Beyond the Boundary, and at long last they met. She gets angry when she sees him. She sacrificed herself to save him, but he tells her that he can't accept a future without her by his side. Beyond the Boundary approaches them, and the two make their way to its core. The demon shot fireballs and Mirai fought back with her sword. Suddenly, she lost her equilibrium and Akihito jumped in to shield her from the flame using his demon power. Mirai and Akihito climb onto a bike and ride towards the demon core. In response, the demon frantically starts to shoot flames at them, but Akihito makes a shield to protect them. With a burst of energy, Mirai thrusts her blade forward and pierces the demon's core. Suddenly, images of all the people who used to bully them in the past appear before them. However, Akihito quickly realizes that it is merely an illusion created by the demon. Akihito and Mirai clasped their hands, took a deep breath and closed their eyes. They were determined to overcome their frightening past and the monsters inside their heads. When they opened their eyes again, a huge army of demons surrounded them. But with Akihito's powerful punches and Mirai's sharp blade, they fearlessly destroyed every demon that dared to attack them. At last, Beyond the Boundary shows up. Akihito decides to accept all his flaws and decides to defeat the enemy. He starts landing several punches on the demon until his body starts to absorb it back. The battle is over and he gently pats Mirai's head, thanking her for everything she has done for him. She starts crying with a smile on her face, saying that she's happy for the first time on her life because she fell in love with him. And that's when Akihito notices her body fading away, only leaving her ring behind. Akihito breaks into tears, screaming in agony as tries to hold her, but she's gone. He holds her ring and promises to keep it as his last memory of her. The world goes back to normal, but Akihito still cannot stop thinking of how much he's missing Mirai for the last couple of months. Until one day, Mirai's ring disappears. He looks up and runs to the rooftop where he first met her. And there, with tears on his eyes, he finally reunites with her. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.